After my last video of my ephemeral garden, somebody asked for me to produce an update when more things were out, so here it is. This is my full shade garden under maple trees. Over in this corner I have, down in here, wild ginger that is slowly spreading through this area. As you can see, there's a good thick layer of maple leaves on the ground, and I'm not even touching it this year. I'm just letting it naturally decay. Hopefully that'll add more nutrients to the soil and keep it moister. Down in here I have Solomon's seal, but I'm afraid this is probably the European Solomon seal. As you can see, I've got multiple flowers coming here, which is typically a sign of, in fact, this one has, if I can get it to focus, there are quite a few flowers in there on each one. Now these were planted, in my defense, long before I got into native plant gardening, and until I find some of the true Solomon seal, these will stay just for interest's sake. Back in here, bloodroot, which is long finished blooming now, and ostrich ferns coming up. The interesting thing about these ostrich ferns is that they are up almost open now, a lot of them. There's still more coming, but at the back of my property, way back there in a moister area, the ostrich ferns are just barely starting to break. Back in the back I have some mayapple, and this year it looks like it may be a good year for them. As you can see in here, we have a flower bud forming in the branch of the mayapple between the two leaves, and there are more here as well. Hard to see it in there, but there are several. In the back we have zigzag goldenrod, which will flower this fall. And hopefully I don't step on things. Along here I have some white trilliums and some red trilliums in there. These have been here for quite a few years, and most years they produce seeds, which is why over on this side of the path I now have baby trilliums popping up that I didn't plant, and one has even started to flower already. This is my sorry patch of trout lily that in 10 years have yet to see a flower form here. Don't know why. It seems healthy and it's spreading lovely, but nothing in the way of flowers yet. In the back, another patch of zigzag goldenrod, and throughout, that may pop up a bit later, there should be some false Solomon seal and a couple of other things. The wood poppies this year are pretty spectacular. My daughter was out on the weekend and we dug several for her garden. But as you can see, they're just glowing beautifully in this morning's sun. Down in here, with some bags to capture seeds, is my sharp-lobed hepatica, which bloomed profusely this year in only its second year. And I've got some seeds coming, I hope, that I can sprinkle out through it this garden. This is my wonderful patch of bloodroot mixed with wild leeks. This was a rescue from a roadway, and inside you can see perhaps lots of seed pods coming from the bloodroot, and the leeks will die off any day now. They'll just turn brown and go away, and in another month or so it will send up a nice white flower and produce some seeds. This patch of green over here, actually as I walk by, we'll scoop down here and see I've got some foam flower in this corner and a sedge, which I believe may be Pennsylvania sedge, in this corner as well. And what appears to be a volunteer sensitive fern coming up here. As I carry on around, this is my patch of Virginia waterleaf, and it is starting to make flower buds now. So in another couple of weeks there'll be beautiful little white flowers with a tinge of mauve. And it likes to spread, so it's coming up through the walkway, which I let it do. And as we walk around here, we get some more ferns, some volunteer jack-in-the-pulpits. As I've mentioned before, I've never planted jack-in-the-pulpit here, and I've got dozens and dozens that come up all over the place. My round-lobed hepatica wasn't quite as prolific as the sharp-lobed, but it did produce a few flowers, so I'm going to try to capture some seeds from those. My Viola pubescens, which is downy yellow violet, has done really well this year. All of the plants that I have flowered, and some of these are volunteers from seeds that came from last year. And I've got a lovely sedge here in the front, which I haven't taken time to identify yet, so maybe that's a project for this year. If anybody knows what it is, just from the video pictures, let me know. And over here we've got some more yellow violet, and we've got some long spurred violet. You can see the spurs on this, perhaps. And then some more foam flower. It was just planted last year, and it's really doing well this year. And again, more downy yellow violet. I had it popping up in my lawn this year too. And another little spot of leeks there. And over here in the center I've got some false Solomon seal there, and another patch of it over there beside the wood poppies. And this half of the garden, I had a beautiful crop of cut-leaf toothwort here, and now there's a couple of seed pods on it, but it doesn't look like too many got pollinated because most of the seed pods look empty. And down in here, my sweet white violets have been slowly spreading and filling in this area nicely. I bought some Spring Beauty and plunked in here, and all around it is dog hair to try to discourage the squirrels. But as you can see, it wasn't entirely successful. They've been trying to dig at it. Some more round-lobed hepatica, and under there is my running strawberry bush, Euonymus obovata, which the rabbits eat off every year, and it has to basically start from scratch, so it's probably never going to cover the entire area like I had hoped. And this is my small spice bush. Flowers are long gone, and the leaves are nicely filling out, as opposed to my giant one at the bottom of the garden, which is the same age but under different growing conditions, and the flowers are just coming out on it now. All of these wood poppies, by the way, are volunteers all through here. Once they get established, they will just help themselves to wherever they want to be. Down here in the sidewalk, I've got some probably swamp milkweed, because it seems to like to volunteer all over places that shouldn't even be suitable for it. My original patch of downy yellow violet here is spreading. Had a few flowers this year. And this barren spot in here, I'm still trying to find things that'll grow in it underneath this sugar maple. I think I just need to keep piling more and more leaves each year to get some more nutrients. New to me this year, from my good friend Sean Booth, I got some Robbins plantain, which is a member of the fleabane family. I'm excited to see how that looks when it grows. And over here we have some white flowers, which is the Canada violet. And in here we have my Canada anemone. It looks like it's spreading nicely. Maybe this will be the solution to my barren section of land under the sugar maples. We'll come around the back and wrap this up. On this side I've got some white wood aster that's coming up through the leaves. And over here, licorice bedstraw, which was new 2 years ago. Last year it had a few little flowers. I tried to collect seeds unsuccessfully, and so this year it's a much healthier looking plant. Hopefully we'll get some seeds maybe this year. And in here I've got some giant blue cohosh here, and I've got some white baneberry here and some red baneberry there, which, if you can see it, has flower buds forming on it right here. And over here we have some more blue cohosh. In this area I planted woodland strawberry last year, but it didn't make it through the winter. And this spot of land here seems so barren that even my poison ivy didn't make it through the winter. No sign of it. On my white baneberry here, which has flowers, this one seems to be the happiest of all my baneberries. And that kind of is the tour. This spot between the trees is where I hang my hammock, and underneath it is where I've been piling the excess leaves that I can distribute over the soil as the wind blows them off or they get rotted down. And that's a tour of my shade garden. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to let me know.